So in 10 seasons at Helsingborg, we have managed to move them up to basically one of the best, if not the best team in Swedish football right now. We have taken them from the first division, getting them promoted, winning the league twice, and now we have left to join our new club, which is Mjallby, AIF, a team who last season were in the second division. They finished, that's not even the right division, is it? If we drop down to there we go. So if we look, last season, they won the league, but their manager left, moved on to a new job. We jumped in, took the reins of a team that don't have any money, and a team, if I'm perfectly honest, that aren't very good either. When you look at the values of their players, the best player, most expensive player is probably our goalkeeper, and I do agree, he is very good. And he's Swedish, which is very helpful. It is the 10th of February. Normally we come back on the 1st of February, but it is the 10th of February because this is a day after I took the job. But there has already been some transfers and I've done none of them. So we're not going to really care too much about what's going on at the moment. Realistically, Season 1, we have one real objective, and that is to not get relegated. I guess a side objective is to try and earn some money. I don't know how we're going to go about doing that. I guess not getting relegated is probably a good way of earning some money. And I guess one good thing, maybe, probably not really, is we are only in 2 competitions. We're not, obviously, in Europe. We're in the Swedish Premier Division and the Swedish Cup, and that is all. And I imagine the Swedish Cup is probably not going to be of any interest to us for a good few seasons yet. We are going to jump forward to the end of the transfer window. Obviously, the Swedish Cup matches up until the semi-final will have taken place. So we might get into a final. We won't get into a final, spoiler. But we should hopefully have done a fair amount of transfer business. And then I can kind of go through the squad of what we've got for Season 1. I'm not going to go through all the players individually because basically we're probably going to do that in just a second as we take a look at the squad, but we have spent £175,000. We're going to take a look at Finley Neat, a player who I think is going to be very useful for us playing in that attacking midfielder role. A Scottish footballer, former under-21s international, but actually has played a lot of football over in Sweden. Is this real? I think this is real life. Yes, he has played a lot of football in Sweden for Malmo. And yeah, we brought him in for £3,500 after a brief spell back in Scotland playing for Falkirk. We've also spent big money on Theo Carlson, a 30-year-old Thai international with over 100 caps. I believe he is part Swedish. So it kind of helps to kind of build the nation, although he can't play for the Swedish national side. He has cost a lot of money, but I think we kind of needed to pay that because basically he's playing in not a stronger league, but he's playing in a stronger nation. And I think he's a good player, although he's only 2.5 star. Maybe we might have wasted money here. So then, this is our squad. We have got a reasonable sized team. Basically, I've sorted this by what I'm training them as. I like to have 2 players for every single position that we have in our squad. And we've kind of got that. So we should have 2 fullbacks in each side. We should have 4 central defenders. We should have 4 defensive midfielders. We should have 4 wingers, left, 2 right. 2 attacking midfielders and 2 strikers. That's kind of the goal. Obviously, we've got a few extras in a few places, which is actually probably a good thing. Left backs might be a bit of a struggle as we've only got 1. Starting off with the goalkeepers then, Philip Hansen, we've already seen him, but he will be our number 1 goalkeeper for the season. But we actually do have a couple of decent backups as well. We have Christian Star Wars. It's definitely not how it's pronounced, but he is a 25-year-old Swedish goalkeeper as well. Looks pretty good. Played 129 times for Mjallby. And then we've got Alessandro Nilsson as well, who also looks pretty good. Never played for us at the moment, but I feel like he might be on number 2, possibly number 3. Maybe we need to loan out Nilsson for a season or 2. Right backs, we've got Daniel Bergstrom, who I think he's good, isn't he? Bergstrom's just a good player. We will find, by the way, we have got a couple of players who used to play for Helsingborg. We've got Johan Ismail as well, who is not that good. He's only 22, hopefully might develop in the future, but he is most certainly going to be a backup. On the left-hand side, we've got Marcus Holm, and that is all. Yep, we've got players who can play left-back, but we haven't got players who are dedicated as left-backs, and arguably Marcus Holm isn't a very good left-back either, but I tried to find left-backs, I couldn't find any left-backs. Central defence, we've already mentioned Carlson, so he is one of our central defenders. We've got Lucas Forsberg, a new signing over the summer, I believe over the summer, maybe it wasn't actually. Why am I thinking I signed this guy? We didn't sign this guy. He was already at the club, 29 years of age. He's technically a fullback, so maybe he might be our left back. But I think he's just better suited to be a centre back at 6'1", although he does have 5 heading. Maybe he's not a centre back. Andre Alvarez Perez is certainly a player that I did sign. He's come in, a 28-year-old defender, Swedish under-20 international, former Swedish under-20 international. I'm not convinced he's necessarily a very good centre-back, but he's kind of here to make up the numbers. we have to remember, we're not comparing us to Helsingborg, we're comparing us to the worst teams in the league right now. We are miles behind Helsingborg. Philip Lundberg is another example of a player who is not good enough for us, and in fact, I've stuck him on the unwanted list. I don't really need him in my team anymore, because I think he's probably the worst defender that we got, but nobody took him. We've got Daniel Skoglund as well, who is good. I like Skoglund. I think he's probably our best central defender. I love those mental numbers. He's got some decent mental numbers going on there. And then we've got Ludvig Bordenas. This is the guy that I signed. Bordenas, it looks very, very good. Brought in from Hammarby, who he only signed for Hammarby last season on a free transfer. We've picked him up for £58,000. I think Bordenas is good, okay? We've got some good defenders. I think we're in a reasonable position when it comes to goalkeeper, centre-backs as well. Defensive midfielders, 6 of them in total. No, not 6. We've got, 4? That's how numbers work. We've got 4 in total. We've got Sadiku, a Kosovan international. He's apparently good. He's 3.5 star. This shows the quality of our side when this is 3.5 star. We've also got Ake Anderson, who technically could be an attacking midfielder, but obviously we are going to be kind of deploying him a lot further back in that defensive midfield role. He is probably our best kind of defensive midfielder. He did join in the summer as well on a free transfer, which I think is a very sensible bit of business. Another summer signing is Emil Solomonsson, who might be a centre-back, might be a defensive midfielder. I'm going to play him as a defensive midfielder because he can't header, but he's technically better at headering than the other guy who I say is going to be a centre-back. So he joined in the summer. Not going to see a huge amount from Solomonsson this season, but he's still only 23, got plenty of time to develop. And Andreas Petersen, who is a 20-year-old under-18s international. He's been with the club since he joined the game. He's all right. He's not amazing. Realistically, I would love to loan him out. I've got him on the loan list. I don't think he's going to go anywhere for a year or two. Onto the wings, we've got Philip Poulsen, a summer signing formerly of Norrkoping. Never really played for them, played just one match. He's basically coming in to be a rotation player. However, our other right winger is Antonio Mbar. Yes, we've signed him from Helsingborg. He got released. His contract expired. I think we did. Don't you think we signed him from Helsingborg? Oh, we did. He spent lots of time out on loan. And of course we brought him in because I do this. Every time I do like a bit of a journeyman save, I'll always buy the same player for a team. So Antonio Mbar might join the third team that we manage in Sweden as well. On the opposite flank, although technically can also play on the right-hand side, is Robin Zabek, who is a 31-year-old Swedish footballer who's good. I like him. I think he's probably, maybe might be our best player, okay? Zabek, I think, is our best player. Adrian Bengston is also a pretty good footballer, apparently. 4-star current ability, although I feel like a lot of his sort of physical numbers are doing heavy lifting when it comes to his ability. When it comes to his actual ability, he can't finish, which we'll be playing an inside forward on attack. He can't finish, he's got no long shots, he can't really pass, and his dribbling's pretty poor. He's not very good for the role, but he's going to be a backup, it's fine. Into the attacking midfield roles, Finney Neat, we've already mentioned, obviously new signing in the summer. I think he might be playing a fair amount of football, maybe anywhere across the front three, sort of left wing, right wing, or maybe even in the middle as well. And I'm not convinced he's going to be one of our main central midfielders because Dahlqvist, 31 years of age, he's very good, but he can also play along the front. He can actually play anywhere pretty much on the pitch, apart from goalkeeper and centre-back. And we've also got Marvin Cabella. Now, this is a strange one for me. I think Cabella is good. The problem is he's getting paid £900 a week. He's not one of our highest earners, I don't think, but he's earning far too much money for what is essentially a third-choice attacking midfielder. So Cabella has been transfer listed. No luck yet selling him. Obviously, I might try and loan him out. Possibly that might be a thing that we do kind of in the summer transfer window instead. And up front, similar situation with Jekla, a player who I just don't think he's going to be good enough to play for us. He's now 25 years of age. He's transfer listed. Nobody wants him, but he is our third-choice striker. Our second choice striker, and technically one for the future, I believe, is Nicholas Skold, 22 years of age. Very good looking striker, I think. 14 goals for Mjallby so far in 51 appearances. Will be getting a lot of game time off the bench. He's 6'4". He's a big lad. Problem is, technically, he's rubbish. And a similar situation, actually, is Linus Karlstrand. He's a big lad. He's only 6'2", but physically and mentally pretty good. Technically, not amazing. 11s and 10s and sort of 9s and 8s all over the place, but he's going to be our main striker, I think, for the season. So far, he has scored 3 goals in the Swedish Cup in 4 appearances, and if you can kind of work that out, he's our best striker. We've only played 4 times in the Swedish Cup. It means we probably haven't got much further than the knockout round. But that is our squad for the season. It's not really awe-inspiring, is it? If we take a look at the Swedish Premier Division and go to season preview, they suspect we will finish bottom of the table. Which, I kind of think that could happen as well, but I'm hoping our formation and tactics kind of pull us through here. If you actually look at what they recommend our best 11 is. So Forsberg, Alvarez, Perez, we've got Solomon, Son, we've got Bordenas as our right back, Anderson and Sadiku, Zabek, Neat and Bengston, and Karlstrand up front, and obviously Hansen in goal. So, I mean, absolutely anywhere outside of the relegation zones, 13th and up, that's a successful season. And in the Swedish Cup then, we did actually manage to win our group, which is very good, winning twice and drawing once, but when we go through to the quarterfinal, we lose to Djurgårdens 3-2. But you kind of have to expect that because we're not very good. We're a second division side, technically. We're a second division side in the top league. And just in case you're new here, this is the tactic we're going to play. Normally, I might lock in the odd player here or there. We're not going to do that for this time at the moment. Maybe kind of in the summer, we might look at doing that. So what we're going to do, we're going to jump forward to the start of the summer transfer window, see how well things have gone in our debut season in charge of Mjallby, and maybe we might have a bit more money to spend in the summer. We've got £245,000. I think we probably need to sell before we buy. Well, we're almost at the halfway point. Just 2 more games to play and we would be at that halfway point. And we are on 14 points in 11th place. Admittedly, we are kind of very close to 14th place, which is currently occupied by AIK, which would be a kind of playoff, I believe, against the team that finished maybe 3rd in the league below. But right now, if this season finished right here, I would be very happy with this. Helsingborg, our former team, obviously, currently in 6th place. Their goal difference is very good, but they are losing some games, losing to Malmö, Gothenburg, and Bromosjopokana. Still don't know. Not a clue how to say it. Obviously, the transfer window has opened. We haven't done any business just yet. I am looking around to see if we can kind of pick up some bargains. Obviously, when we hit sort of July, players from most of Europe are available on free transfers because this is when their contracts expire. We can't really get too many in the start of the season, but when we get to the midway point, that's where we can pick up some real bargains. And by bargains, I mean players who literally cost us only wages. Also, I'm nearly 39 years of age and this name makes me laugh, okay? Leave me alone. One thing I didn't actually mention is our facilities. Obviously, being a building a nation save, we want to try and produce the best Swedish footballers. I don't think we're going to do that at Mjallby, but in my goal in the next 5 to 10 seasons, I don't know how long we're going to be at Mjallby, but I'm going to say 5 seasons as a minimum, 10 seasons as a maximum. I want to improve the facilities. And I don't think we're going to do it within the first couple of years because we're not going to have any money. So, this is the current state of affairs. Training is good, youth facilities is average, junior coaching is adequate, and youth recruitment is average. So we're going to have to be asking the board at the end of this season, most likely, can we get some improvements on that? Because right now, that's pretty bad. Anyway, the transfer window is open. We have got a little bit more money than what we did have. We've got now £250,000 to spend. It's not going to go very far, but we're going to see what we can do. And in a nice, seamless transition, we are looking at our finances with a transfer budget of £969. So we have spent a fair amount of money, and our wage budget is also maxed out. So what have we done? First of all, we've sold Dennis Bengston, who I believe I might have mentioned. I think he was actually in our team, but he's been sold for a little bit of money. Technically, this actually happened at the end of March, but yeah, for some reason, didn't mention it to you. We've also sold Victor Mustafa for about £18,000, and Marvin Kabaya has gone out on loan to Norrby, and they're paying a little bit of money. We've brought in 3 new players, and one of them is a familiar face. And that is Kim Lundberg from Helsingborg. Basically, when we left, the new manager came in and basically went, I'm not going to play you. So I went, I'll take you. And I said, how much do you want for him? £6,000. It's £6,000 is absolute peanuts. We've got ourselves a very good attacking midfielder, a Swedish attacking midfielder as well, a player who we know, and he does well, has done well for Helsingborg, scoring nearly 50 goals in 170 appearances. So, Kim Lundberg, this is a good signing. We've also brought in 2 more players. Valery Frolkin is a Russian who has signed from Rotor, and I brought him in because I wanted him to be this attacking midfielder, and then we bought Kim Lundberg afterwards. So, Frolkin, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with him. He's good. Maybe he becomes a striker. He can do that. He's got decent finishing. I think we've got a good player. Obviously, he's still young. He's only cost £67,000. We've got a good footballer. Plenty of potential. Also, current ability is pretty good as well. I feel like we didn't need to do this if I knew I could have got Lundberg. But anyway, he's in the club, and we brought in 1 more player, and he's cost £250,000. And it is Nigerian under-20s international Arinze Giwa, who has been signed from Sunshine Stars. Like I said, £250,000. It's a lot of money, but we needed a left back, and he's kind of got the benefit on his side that he's hopefully got potential. I don't know whether he does have potential, but everyone seemed to think he's got potential. The coach summary as well says he's 3.5-star current ability, 4.5-star potential ability. So Gila is in, and Gila is going to be getting a lot of game time. He's already played 8 times for us. So just looking at the squad again, we've had a bit of kind of some changes have gone on. Obviously, players have gone out on loan and things like that. But we've now got ourselves 2 fullbacks. Marcus Holm and Arinze Gila are both in at fullback. I mean, if we sort by wage, the new signings that I made are they're getting paid a lot of money. They're getting paid a lot of money, aren't they? I might be ruining the club financially, but the ultimate goal here is we need to kind of spend the money to make money. We're doing what Leeds did. Hopefully we're going to do it successfully. And so far it is kind of going successfully. We are up to 9th place in the table. Our goal difference is -8, which, everyone else around us is either 0 or in the positives. But we are mid-table. We are mid-table in the Swedish Premier Division, where we were expected to finish bottom of the table. We are going to jump forward to the end of the season to see how well things have gone on. I'm hoping we have performed well enough that we're not in a relegation scrap, and we should be safe for a Season 2 of Mjallby in the Swedish Premier Division. We missed out on European football on goal difference. What's happened? We finished 6th place. Helsingborg finishing 3rd place. BK Häcken actually winning the league this time around, but we have finished in 6th place in our debut season. We had a bit of a rough patch in sort of June, July, August time. June, but didn't play any matches in June. In May, we were pretty bad. In fact, we were pretty bad. For the first half of the season, we weren't good. In the second half, we kind of came together and won most matches by the looks of it. And it looks like the standout performer is Linus Karlstrand, scoring 10 goals in the league in 29 appearances. He's kind of the only one really doing it. It says 13 there because he scored some goals in the Swedish Cup from last season. We've also got Nicholas Skold, who scored 9, only started 6. I feel like he needs to get more game time, but obviously with Karlstrand here, Skold isn't going to get it. We've also got Dahlqvist scoring 9, getting 2 assists. He's also out of contract, by the way. A lot of players end up coming out of contract quite quickly because for some reason they only want to offer them 2-year deals, and I don't know why. And I keep doing it as well. Okay, I'm partially to blame for this, but I keep offering people short contracts, and then their contracts expire, and I kind of forget, and they just leave the club. Like Kabaya, I don't really want him. Do I want him? I do want him to leave. I want him to leave. I keep saying I don't want him, but I feel like he doesn't need to be here. Looking at assists as well, so Bergstrom has actually performed very well, getting 10 assists in all competitions. Gila, who only played half a season, getting 5 assists as well. Zabek, who I'm assuming played pretty much anywhere along the front 3 there, getting 6 goals and 7 assists. So I think we've done very well. We've had a very good season. What does it mean financially? Not a lot, in fact. We are still in debt. We have leapt from -2 million to -227,000. We've got £160,000 to spend next season. We need to sell somebody, and I don't want to do it. We've not got... I mean, Frolkin's worth a fair amount of money. Gila's worth some money. Karlstrand is worth some money. Hansen's worth some money. So we've got some people who are worth a bit of money, but I don't really want to sell them because they're our best players. I'd rather pick up some youth player. I mean, arguably Gila. This could be a prime example. So Gila's a player that we bought for £250,000, and if we sell him now for £2 million, I'd be okay with that because we can reinvest that £2 million. What I don't want to lose is somebody like a Karlstrand for £500,000 because we can't buy someone as good as Karlstrand for £500,000. We are in it's a weird situation. When you do a building a nation save and a kind of a journeyman save, you move to your next team, you're kind of starting from scratch, but you're also starting not from scratch because all of the players who have kind of developed over the last few seasons, different prices, different values, them different clubs and all sorts of things, and it's actually quite a difficult thing to do. That's why I don't really know why I'm doing this. I do know why I'm doing this, and that's because I want Sweden to win a World Cup. I don't think I've really mentioned this at all, but I want Sweden to win a World Cup, and I think they've done quite well. I don't think I've shown any of this, but they were... Can we see... Is it this one here? So, where is it? So 2026, they got to the round of 16 in the World Cup. Last time around, it's not last time around, they didn't even qualify for the 2031, did they? That's not good. They got to the round of 16, and then they end up losing here against Senegal. So they've done all right there. The European Championships, however, we've had two, so the 2024 and the 2032, so they've missed one of them once again. But when they did qualify, they got to the semi-final. So if we have a look here, they got to the semi-final, they lose against Ukraine. They weren't in this one for some reason. And then in this one here, they lose against Norway, which is a bit ridiculous, actually. A Portugal-Norway final. Fair enough. I don't think anyone expected that to happen. So anyway, that is Season 1 or Season 11 of our Building a Nation save with Mjallby complete. We have made massive strides. However, financially, we are still not in a good way. We're going to have to do a bit more rebuilding over the winter transfer window to see what we can do. We're going to have to trim down our wages because we are over our wage budget, which is not good. And we need to get some money back in the club. So hopefully we can try and find some players that we can shift on for a bit of cash. Maybe we've got some clauses we can sell as well. With our first season with Mjallby in the bag, we have retained our place in the Swedish Premier Division. Season 2 or Season 12 of this Building a Nation save has to be more of the same. And I realistically think Europe has to be the target, which sounds ridiculous. A team that were not even in this division a season ago, and we are now looking to hopefully qualify for a European competition for our third season in charge. And we've got £21,000 to do it with. We have spent some of our wages and our transfer budget, and by some, all of it. In fact, we've spent more of our wages than we realistically should have done, but we've brought in some good players already on the 1st of February. We have gone to Chile, and we have signed 2 players from U Española, and that is Humberto Riveros, the 22-year-old Chilean under-20 international, can play left wing, right wing, or as a striker. Coming in on a free transfer, he is one for the future. I think he should be good enough to play for us, but I was hoping he would be better. 2-star current ability is not good enough. And the other player that we have signed is Hamlet Lecourt, who is a 22-year-old under-23 international from Chile, signed from the same team, Española. And I don't know whether we needed to do this, but the plan here was this buys us an option to sell our best goalkeeper because we now have a replacement made. It might not work out because we might end up having 2 first-choice goalkeepers in the squad, but we've done it. We've made that decision. And we've also spent £185,000 on a Danish under-21 international in the shape of Nicholas Olsen, signed from Landskrona, and I think he's just good. I brought him in because of versatility. He can play as that defensive midfielder, but he can also play as a centre-back as well. He has cost us all of our money. We've also managed to sell this man on a free transfer. Speaking of free transfers as well, I don't think there's anyone really of interest. Philip Ljungberg has left on a free. Ismail has left. Philip Poulsen has left. Reece Lally has also left. And Diego Lagos have all left on free transfers. I think for the most part, they were all out on loan last year. So looking at the competitions, there is this strange competition in the middle called Money. Now, I had a plan, and that was to basically make money by kind of not cheating. It's not cheating, it's gaming the game, okay? We set up a tournament with a bunch of good teams from across Europe and made it a league. And basically, the way you can make money from this is when Standard play CSKA Sofia, we get all the ticket prices for that. And what stupid thing happened, and I don't know why, all of the matches were televised, so we got a bit of money for that. But if we look at our finances, so I think we have to look at income for last month, we managed to pick up TV revenue of 156,000 for a fictional competition, gate receipts as well of nearly 200,000, and that is basically money that we would not have got. Last season, we did not get any money for this competition because it did not exist. We picked up £1.5 million through TV revenue for everything else. We're now going to get just a little bit more, which I think is helpful. Anyway, what we've got to do then, we've got to jump forward to around the end of March. The transfer window will have closed. We will have hopefully done some more transfer business. I'm not quite sure how. I'm going to have to kind of channel my inner Harry Redknapp and see whether we can get ourselves some bargains. But we're going to try our best to get some new players into the club. And we have managed to do that. 3 new players have joined. We've got rid of a few players as well. Ali Nilsson is one of them. He's gone for the most amount of money that we managed to get, which is £18,250. And Fisnik Nilsson has left to go to Christian Sand, and he's gone for not a lot, £1,600. Joining the club then is a Brazilian called Juliano Raff, who is very, very good, 19 years of age. He's going to obviously be a defensive midfielder. Probably going to have to lock this guy in because I feel like he's not going to play there unless we tell them to, because he's not natural as a defensive midfielder, but he's coming on a free transfer. Theo Bergvall has also joined on a free transfer as well. He was formerly playing for Toronto FC. He is the brother, by the way, of Lucas Bergvall, who is still playing for Helsingborg at the moment. So we brought him in on a free transfer, partially because he's Swedish, but also he's a fullback, and we need fullbacks. And finally, for £2,400, we have signed Axel Hjulmarsson, who is a 25-year-old Swedish centre-back signed from Norrby. He's come in for depth, basically. There's also a bunch of loan deals that have gone on. So Fan the Hung has gone out on loan. Alessandro Nilsson, who is one of our many goalkeepers, he's gone out on loan to Stockholm. We've got Antonio Mbar. He's carried on his life of constantly going out on loan to teams. He's absolutely rubbish. I don't know why I keep doing this to myself. And then a whole bunch of other players going out on loan deals. But nobody really of interest. So looking at the squad, sorting by role, we've got 3 goalkeepers. Star Wars doesn't have a contract. I'm tempted to not bother offering him one, because he's not going to go anywhere until somebody comes in for him. And if he's not getting any game time, why would anybody want to come in for him at all? I think looking at the roles that we've got a good spread. We've probably got slightly too many defensive midfielders. What was that? 6 defensive midfielders. But maybe that could come in handy because we will have that depth available for us. Juliana Raff will be the only player locked into the starting 11 because basically, like I said, if we don't do that, if we do this pick without restrictions, best 11, Raff isn't there. He's sat on the suspension in position number 6. So we need to make sure that he is locked in for at least the first half of the season. And despite the fact that we finished 6th place last year, we are predicted to now finish 15th place. You would have thought they would have learned. Like, just maybe stick it a little bit higher. Who are our best 2 players that they recommend for this season? It's Ake Anderson and Frolkin, which, fair enough, they are pretty good footballers, aren't they? Helsingborg, obviously our former team, are predicted to win the league. I didn't check this, actually, and I feel like I should have done. I didn't check. So, this was obviously our last season in charge, and we finished there. How far did they get in the Europa League? So, 2 more league phases. They then beat Sporting, but then lost to Sporting. Okay, so, right, fair enough. They didn't do so well because they got knocked out, but still, they managed to get through. Fair enough. So, on the 29th of March then, we've got no transfer budget. We are well over our wage budget now, £6,000 a week over our wage budget, but the window has slammed shut. We now need to focus on winning some games. Oh yeah, and we almost got to the Swedish Cup final. We got knocked out in the semi-final against Gothenburg. It would have been Helsingborg, Mjallby in the final if we managed to do that. So my one former team and current team, but unfortunately Gothenburg were the team to step in the way. I have a sneaking suspicion we could be good enough to win the Swedish Cup at some point. All it takes is a bit of luck, and we could win it. Let's go forward to the midway point of the season and see how well things have gone on. I'd like to be top half. It's looking a little bit better than top half. We are in 5th place in the league. We're ahead of Helsingborg, who should be top of the table by a fair distance. We are 5th place in the table. 7 wins, just 1 draw, 4 defeats, positive goal difference. We're just 2 points behind Malmo. If we win 1 more game and they lose a game, we could be up into 2nd place. Djurgården's currently running away with it, but that's fair enough. I'm not really focusing on trying to win the league at the moment, but the fact that we are not too far away from 2nd place is filling me with a lot of confidence. Obviously, being the 7th of July, the transfer window is open. I'm not really convinced we can do too much. We're going to have to just go forward and see if there is anything we can do. I feel like if anyone's coming in, they're going to be on a free transfer, and we're probably going to have to sell some players to basically kind of fund. It's the wages right now. We are well over our wage budget. That's the problem. Let's go forward and find out. 3 players have left the club then on permanent deals. Finley Neat, first up, returning back to Scotland, signing for Queen's Park. He was basically getting paid too much money. We've not really made any money from this. We've got £6,500 possibly, but we are paying some of Finley Neat's wages until the end of his Mjallby contract, which is probably going to cost us about £6,000. So this is literally a free transfer, but he's off the books. Similar situation as well is Theo Karlsson, the Thai international who we signed in Season 1. He's moved over to Maccabi Haifa in Israel. He was playing, but he was getting paid too much money. He wasn't really playing enough. Yes, we have taken a massive loss on this, but it's possibly going to be £80,000 for Karlsson. So I'm okay with it, and it's money off of the wage bill. And this was a tactical decision, okay? I'm fully aware. Building a nation, want to keep our best Swedish footballers. However, Philip Hansson, I feel like we should be playing the Chilean goalkeeper. I feel like he's a better goalkeeper. Hansson has been moved on to Djurgårdens, and he's gone for 450,000, possibly going to 525. which has meant we have had to do a bit more reinvesting. We've signed Jörgen Lundqvist, 22-year-old goalkeeper. He is literally never going to kick a ball for us, and if he does, something's gone horrendously wrong, but we needed a third-choice keeper. This one, I was very, very happy with. Daniel Ibrahim as a player I was actually keeping an eye on at Helsingborg when he was playing for Remo Stars, and I couldn't just get the deal over the line. His contract expired, and we picked him up on a free transfer. 22-year-old Nigerian international, obviously defence midfielder is where we're going to be playing him. I'm very happy with this. This is the type of player that we will sell in 2 or 3 years' time, make a massive profit, but he's going to help us out financially going forward. And a similar thing I expect from Yuri Galamba, who is a Portuguese centre-back signed from Amora for £115,000. And they wanted to sell him, and I don't know why, because he's very, very good. He's worth £800 to £1.8 million. I think he's probably our best. I'm going to play as a centre-back. I think he's our best centre-back that we've got in the club. I'm very, very happy with this signing. I think the business we've done over the summer, considering we had no money, I think we've done quite well. Yes, selling Hansen might have been a big risk, but I think it's a sensible risk to take. And just looking at the squad and the starting 11, we are locking in 2 players. So Galamba will be locked in as a centre-back because I feel like if we don't, they might play him as a defensive midfielder. And we're going to keep Raf as well locked in as that defensive midfielder. And just to put the cherry on top of the cake, we have moved up to 4th place in the table now. 37 points on the board. We are, 8 points behind league leaders, Djurgårdens. But we've got one game in hand. We don't. Malmo, Brommos, Parkana and Landskrona have 1 game in hand over us. So maybe this 4th place is not really kind of genuine, but the fact that we're still up there is very, very good to see. Obviously, we've got to go forward now to the end of the season to see how well we've managed to finish. If we can get European football, that would be amazing for Season 3. What does this mean? We finished 5th, but we haven't got any confirmation of Europe. What does that mean? The fact that we finished 5th, great, amazing, love it. I feel like the Swedish Cup that has just kicked off will decide whether that is going to be a Europa Conference League position or whether the winner of the Swedish Cup will be in the Europa Conference League. So we have to kind of hope that one of these 4 teams or us win the Swedish Cup next season. I think. It might not be. That might not be the case at all, but I think that might be what we have to expect. And the fact that we managed to lose the final game of the season 2-1 to Landskrona, if we won that game, what would that have meant? So we would have been on 57 points. We would have actually finished in 3rd. If we won that final game, we would have finished in 3rd. Admittedly, the team that finished in 2nd were the team that beat us. But that is so close to being in the Europa League. I have also just realised we've actually finished higher than Helsingborg. How have we managed to do that? I mean, they're the best team in the league. They've got the best players. We kind of know this because we bought them all. But we've managed to beat them in the league table. Also, the top goal scorer is Juan Francisco, a player that I signed for Helsingborg and went, we're probably not going to play him enough, and sold him on a free transfer to Kalmar. And he is just, last 2 seasons, he's got 30 goals across 2 seasons. And he's decided to be Swedish. Amazing. Final thing I want to check then. So, club coefficients, we are 10th. We are 10th at the moment. We could be going higher as well. That is a big, big score from last season. Obviously, we weren't involved in European competitions. What does it mean in 10th place? So 10th place, we get a team directly in the Champions League. We also get a team directly in, I believe, the Europa League. Yeah, so a team goes straight into the Europa League there. If we go higher, I mean, this, arguably, is this the one? I mean, arguably 6th is where you want to be. 2 teams straight into the Champions League would be amazing. But 6th or 7th, we are not. I don't think we're too far away from that. Obviously, we don't really have a say at the moment. But the fact that we are still slowly climbing up the coefficients. Can we actually see? How do we find? Let's find the Champions League. I feel like we haven't won anything. Like, I'm not expecting to see like somebody from Sweden to win any of these competitions. But you never know. We can live and dream. Yeah, none of them at all. So the closest, I say the closest we've got, it's not the closest we've got at all. We can have a look. So in the Champions League, we've got a Swedish team there, BK Häcken. They've won once against Dinamo and lost 3 times, which is not ideal. So obviously this is this season's. Anything else? So Europa League, we've got Gothenburg, who won once, drawn once. This is not looking like a good season. It's not looking like a good season at all. However, Europa Conference League comes in clutch, and we've got Landskrona with 2 wins and a draw. We've got Helsingborg with 2 wins and a draw. And also down the bottom here, Hammarby with 2 draws and a defeat. So, I mean, they're contributing. The 2 draws help, I guess. So Season 2 with this Mjallby side has meant we might be in Europe. We might be in Europe, but I'm not quite sure because I think we need to find out what happens next season in the Swedish Cup to determine who actually is in Europe. Next season, we could be in Europe. Financially, what have we got? We've got 1.1 million in the bank. We've got 1.1 million in the bank and a transfer budget of £825,000, £70,000 a week wage budget. That is literally like £20,000 a week more than what we are currently spending or committed. Yeah, currently spending. Committed spending is even £10,000 less than that. Next season could be interesting. This transfer window could be a good one because we might be in a position to buy lots and lots of cheap players who will definitely strengthen our side. And then for Season 3 with Mjallby, I can't believe I'm going to say this out loud, but do we think we can start to try and charge for the title? Is that a possibility? It's probably too soon, but we could be in a position to actually start challenging the top of the table, which is good because we need money. And in order to get money, we need to win things. And to win things and get money means we can then update our facilities, which right now, they're not accepting anything, basically. We're just kind of stuck with what we've got. So last season with our Mjallby side, we kind of ended on a bit of a cliffhanger. We don't know what's going on when it comes to Europe. We finished 5th place, which might get Europe. It hasn't the previous season. In fact, it doesn't. Does it ever get Europe? I don't even know. I feel like we might get Europe, but it also depends on who wins the Swedish Cup. I think that's what's likely going to happen. So, for example, if Djurgårdens win the Swedish Cup, we might get European football this season. Or technically, we could also win the Swedish Cup, which for some reason we are 2nd place, but also going to qualify. I don't quite understand how that's a thing. Hammarby also in 2nd place, but going to qualify, and ourselves. Sure, why not? Obviously, being the 1st of February, we've got some transfer business to talk about. We've also got a lot of players leaving on free transfers. Some of them who have actually played quite a lot of football, like Sadiku, has left at the end of his contract and then decided to retire. We've also got Alvarez Perez, a player that we signed, just didn't really play him too much. He played 23 times. He is also left on a free transfer. So we've got rid of some players who were kind of on the fringes, sometimes in the starting 11. We've brought in 3 new players. And one of them will be a name that you will recognise, hopefully you'll recognise, from our days in Helsingborg. First of all, we have signed Chris Miller, a 24-year-old Northern Irish right winger, signed from Derry City. I wanted to bring him in last season, but basically, he was out of contract at Derry City, never signed a new one, but I had to pay ridiculous amounts of compensation for him. And then eventually they just released him, so we picked him up on a free transfer. I think he's a good player. He's come in as a fringe. He might get a lot of football, you never know. We've also signed Austrian defender midfielder Marcus Strauss, I believe that's how we're going to say that, from SV Zams in Austria. Now, SV Zams are a team that I've never heard of, but they are a semi-professional side who have lots of players who are available on a free transfer. Frank Borner, for example, looks quite good at 21, doesn't he? David Effenberg looks quite good at 21. Leon Schmidt looked quite good at 21. Maybe we might be going back to Zams to pick up all 3 of those players because they're all pretty good. Strauss, by the way, is a defensive midfielder, and I think mentally, very, very good numbers. Physically, also not terrible. Technically, he's got some good numbers in some good places. He's going to be a bit of a rotation player. Maybe send him out on loan for a season. I think we've got hopefully a good one for the future. And one for now, and one for the past as well, is Gabor Molnar, the Serbian defender, signed from Helsingborg, who we actually signed initially from Vancouver, I believe. He has joined us for £190,000. We didn't sign him from Vancouver. We loaned him to Vancouver, apparently. I say we. I'm assuming it wasn't. I don't think we did that, did we? No, because we left in 2032. So we signed him in our final season, and now we've brought him from Mjallby, I believe, if that's how things work out. I think that's what's happened. So we've signed him for £190,000. He's going to be a very good player for us. Definitely good enough to start for us every single game, I believe. But that's the transfer business that we have done so far at the start of the season. Financially, we've still got a bit of money, £645,000 to spend. We've got around £20,000 a week wage budget if we want to dip into that as well. And just taking a quick look at our best 11, apparently, according to our assistant manager, David Cellini, Have we got anyone else who's better? No, we don't at the moment. So we have basically got, I think we need possibly a centre-back, although Molnar we have obviously just signed. Maybe a defensive midfielder. We might need to look at strengthening there. We've got some very good options, like Daniel Ibrahim is a very good defensive midfielder, so maybe we don't need to worry too much about that. Left winger, possibly. Right winger, possibly. Arguably, I don't know what we need to do. We haven't got a huge amount of money, so maybe we just look at getting some decent youth players for the future and hopefully build up our little storage system of decent young players, loan them out to other teams in Sweden. Let's see how things go. We're going to jump forward then to the end of the start of the season transfer window, see what business we've managed to do. 2 players have left the club on permanent deals. Andre Larsson Wagert is the first one he has left. He is signed for Abreu. I believe we sold him to Abreu. Yes, we loaned him out a couple of seasons. He's gone for £82,000. And for a whopping £800, we have sold Axel Hilmarsson. He has gone to Sirius, a player that we signed last season for £2.4 thousand. We've sold him for £800. Basically, he just wasn't playing, was he? He was getting annoyed. He wasn't playing. We've just decided, let's cut our losses, get rid of him. But at least we've kept him in Sweden. And that is it, basically. We've loaned out a couple more players, but we have not brought in anybody new. Andreas Peterson going on loan, a good player, going to Sundsvall. Hopefully, I think they're in the first division, maybe they are. They're not in the top division, they're in the second division. So Peterson hopefully going to get some football there. And Star Wars as well. He has gone to Vassarland, who are also in the second division. So hopefully going to get a bit of football playing for them as well. We've also loaned out Mba because, why would he ever play for a club that he actually signed for? Let's send him out on loan. He's never going to get good, okay? This is now an experiment that I'm going to do. I'm just going to keep him until he inevitably retires and never plays a football match for us directly. I think he might have played a cup game once. Maybe. It doesn't look like he has. He's literally never played for a team that signed him, but he's played lots of games out on loan and he's still just awful at football. So yeah, it's been somewhat of a relatively uneventful summer, which means we do still have our transfer budget and our wage budget. In fact, we've got a little bit more money, obviously, in that because of the selling and basically freeing up some funds from the wages. From a competitions perspective, we still do not know what is going on. However, we are in the Swedish Cup final up against Helsingborg. Last season, I believe we got knocked out in the semi-final. This time around, we have made it to the final. We are playing our former team. It is 2 of my teams up against each other. So in a way, I'm kind of happy whoever wins. The fact that we're in the final says to me that we might be in Europe. Because, if I'm not mistaken, Helsingborg finished ahead of us last year, right? Helsingborg finished ahead of us. They didn't. They finished 6th. What happens here? I genuinely have no idea. It doesn't tell me. Next season, it's no idea either. I don't know what's going on. We still don't know whether we're in Europe or not. What we do know, obviously, we are in the Swedish Premier Division. We are predicted to finish 13th place, so just outside of a relegation scrap. Obviously, I don't want to be anywhere near a relegation scrap. I'm hoping to be 6 and above. That's kind of our goal because we have, I'm going to say it, we've qualified for Europe. We haven't. But because we've qualified for Europe, I've got very close to it. I think we should be able to do this every single season now with Mjallby from this point onwards. I don't do this too often, but I'm just going to kind of remind you, this is the formation. It's a 4-2-3-1. It's the Black Panther formation. There is a link in the description if you want to use it. It is not my formation. It's GOIR's formation. The best 11, apparently, is this. So we've got Lecourt in goal, Bergvall, Galamba, Molnar, and Giwa. So some of our very recent signings. In fact, all 4 of those are recent signings. So is Lecourt. Raf, as we know, we signed him, I think, in Season 1 with Mjallby. He's starting to get good, although he's starting to decline. We've got Nicholas Ollison, another player that I brought into the club, who is apparently one of the best. We've got Anderson on the right-hand side. This was kind of where I was thinking maybe we need to strengthen, but Anderson's very good. Bengston on the left. He's just fast and angry. I'm not too convinced about Bengston. Lundberg, we know Kimi Lundberg as that attack midfielder is good. We've done that for countless seasons. And then Linus Karlstrand, who maybe Karlstrand might not be the one. We've got, who else we've got? Skold. Skold and Karlstrand, I think, are similar. Maybe Skold might make it into the first team this season. He's already played 84 times for Mjallby over his career, scoring 30 goals. Maybe this is the season where he breaks into the starting 11. So anyway, let's jump forward then to the start of the next transfer window. We're going to find out whether we are in Europe or not. Have we won the Swedish Cup with Mjallby? I would love to win something with Mjallby before we inevitably leave, but I feel like this might be our best and only chance to do it, and it is up against a very good, and obviously we know they're very good, a Helsingborg side. Let's find out and see what's going on. We've been FM'd. I mean, we haven't really, but we've been FM'd. We've lost on penalties against Helsingborg. We had a 3.0 XG, but only scored 1 goal after 44 minutes. Mikey Moore scored for Helsingborg after 47, goes all the way to penalties, and then we just can't take penalties, or in fact, Solomonson cannot take penalties. What's his penalty taken? 6. Okay, and who was the other guy? Marcus Strauss, who's got penalty taking of 4, cannot take penalties, which means we do not win the Swedish Cup, but have we qualified for Europe? Yes, somehow. I don't know how we've done this. So, right, I'm going to have a quick look. We haven't qualified for Europe there, but Helsingborg must have qualified for Europe as well, right? I feel like they were already in Europe. They might have already been in Europe from the previous season. Oh, it's got very confusing. So no, they couldn't have been in Europe from the previous season unless they got to the final. So Gothenburg... Okay, right. Gothenburg must have got to Europe that season. They did. And because they won the cup, it went to the runner-up of the cup, got into Europe. But then because they were in Europe, that's because of that winning or equalize, whatever. Basically, somehow we're in Europe. And I wasn't expecting to be in Europe, obviously, as you can probably tell. And we're also second place in the Swedish Premier Division. 4 points behind Djurgårdens, joint on points with Landskrona and Hammarby. 3 points clear of Helsingborg. 4 points clear on Brommapojkarna. So, all in all, it's going quite well this season. Do you just want to take a quick look? Obviously, we're not far into the season, realistically. We've played, what is that? We should probably know. I could actually see what it was. But we've played less than half of the fixtures, and we've lost once. And that was only just against Varberg. And Varberg's are not a team that we should be losing against, realistically. So we've done well. It's a good start. Anyway, it is the 7th of July. The transfer window has opened. We've got some money to spend. We've literally done no business at the moment. I'm going to see what we can do. Maybe we do what we were talking about earlier, where we bring in some young players to hopefully just bolster some of the other teams in Sweden, but also make us better in a few years' time. Let's jump forward to around September and see if we've done anything. I'm worried that we might lose some players. In particular, Daniel Ibrahim. His value is skyrocketing. He's not wanted at the moment, but there's obviously time. Arinze Gira as well is another player that I'm worried that someone's going to come in and steal him. And Galamba, the player that we signed last season, or maybe the year before, I think it was last season, wasn't it? Yeah, for £115,000. He's not worth a huge amount of money, but I just think he's getting really good. And I'm concerned that someone's just going to come in and basically steal him for pennies. Well, good news. On the 1st of September, the window has closed. We have sold one player, and that is Predrag Karalic might be his name. He's gone to... where has he gone to? He's gone to Lunds. He's gone to Osters, actually, and then gone on loan to Lunds for £1,000. And that is it. We've loaned out a lot of people, but we've also spent a fair amount of money as well. Well, we've actually spent £250,000 on one player, and 3 players have come in on free transfers. Carl Cumberbatch has joined for free from West Brom, formerly of West Ham, and I believe a loan spell, 2 loan spells at VVV Venlo over in the Netherlands. He's coming on a free transfer. I think this is a good player to bring in. He's hopefully one for the future, but also he can do a job now. He is 27, so by future I mean 2 years' time. Arguably, maybe if he was younger, this would be a perfect signing. Right now, he's okay. He's not actually playing. His actual kind of playing time is emergency backup, which is probably a worry. We've also brought in on a free transfer a Russian who is called Ivan Dranikov. He can play in defence, midfield or attack. I don't know what position he is. I feel like they're going to play him in defence, and I'm kind of okay with that. He's got 12 tackling. He's also got 11 finishing. He's a bit of a weird footballer. There's not too many of these kind of in real life, I don't think, but Dranikov for a free transfer, he's a very good player. Ignore the fact that he's getting paid £7,250 a week. It's a lot of money. And the final free transfer is Josiclé, sure, the 24-year-old Brazilian right-back and left-back and attacking midfielder. He's not going to play in attacking midfield, has joined from Flamengo on a free after his contract expired, and I think we've got ourselves a very good, youngish footballer. He's not amazing, by all means. He's kind of below average, but physically and mentally, he's actually a pretty good footballer. Josiclé, I think he's good. For a free, I think you can't really go wrong. And for £250,000, we have signed Leonardo Dominguez, who is a 26-year-old Argentine winger and striker. And I feel like we've overpaid, okay? I really wanted to bring in a kind of utility player, a striker and a winger, someone who can do that job. I looked at Dominguez and thought, he looks quite good. And now I'm kind of doubting. I'm doubting kind of my expectations and my estimations. And we did spend a lot of money on him. They basically... They kind of negotiated it up for me, and I don't know why I've done this. He's not that good of a goal scorer. Dominguez might have been a waste of money. And that's not good to say when you're a team who haven't got any. So that is all of our transfer business. You can see here as well from there downwards all of the various loan deals. I don't think there's anyone really kind of big and exciting going out on loan. Marcus Holm actually maybe is one of them. He has played a few games for us over the last couple of years. Isaac Dahlqvist as well, another one who played a lot of football but now at the age of 33. I've got no need for a 33-year-old right winger. In the Swedish Premier Division, we have dropped down from 2nd to 3rd place, but we are now just 1 point behind top of the table at Bromwich Pekana. So, could we win the league? In our 3rd season in charge of Mjallby, could we actually win the league? I feel like we can't, but you never know. Weirder things have happened. And the other thing, we are in the Europa Conference League, currently sat down in 31st place. No matches have been played yet, but we did have to play some games in order to get here, and one of them was a very big result. In fact, 2 of them were very big results. Beating Dedic 6-0 and 9-0, which is ridiculous. A 15-0 aggregate victory there. We then beat Mjällby Orhai. I have no idea what country these are from. They're from Moldova, apparently. Beat them 4-0 and a 0-0 draw, which is not ideal. And then Braga, beating them 6-2 away from home and losing 2-1 at home. It's not great, is it? But the fact we've managed to do that has meant we're in the Europa Conference League properly. We have got Tripolis, who are from Greece. We have HSV, we have Arda, who are from Bulgaria. Wolves, obviously, from Birmingham. We have FC Twente and Dynamo Bucharest. So, also, Wolves, it's not Birmingham, is it? I know people who are from the area are going to shout and moan at me. I can't even remember where it is, though. It's Wolverhampton. Of course it's Wolverhampton. It's in the Birmingham area, okay? They're rivals with Birmingham and Aston Villa on that lot. So around the midway point, in fact, over the midway point, we've just got 9 games left to play of this season. We are in 3rd place. Could we win the league? If not, could we qualify for the Champions League? That would be massive for Season 4 with our Mjallby side. We're going to go forward and we're going to find out exactly what has gone on. Well, the first thing I'm going to say is we've managed to qualify out of the Europa Conference League. We have won 3 of our matches, beating Wolves, Arda and Tripolis. In fact, beating Wolves 4-0 is ridiculous. 3 draws as well, Dynamo Bucharest, Twente and HSV, which means we do finish in 8th place on 12 points, but the goal difference has really, really helped us out there. And that means that we go through to the knockout round. In fact, the round of 16, I believe, of the Europa Conference League. In the Swedish Premier Division, we finished in 3rd place, 5 points off eventual winners Bromwich Pekana. Hammarby in 2nd place, just 3 points behind them, ahead of Djurgårdens, ahead of Landskrona, and ahead of Helsingborg as well. We have done some really, really good work this season with Mjallby. In fact, we've got 3 players who've got double figures when it comes to goals. We've got Bergström, who has managed to score 13 in all competitions. We've also got Nicholas Skold, who did start quite a lot of matches. He got 17 in all competitions, 9 of them in the Europa Conference League. Kim Lundberg, 12 in the league, 17 in all competitions. And Ake Anderson as well. He's got 16 in all competitions, although only 5 in the league, 10 of them coming in the Europa Conference League. I didn't mention this either. Valery Frolkin, a player who we signed in Season 1, I believe, he's been moaning that he's not playing a lot of football, so I've kind of force-started him in the second part of the season. He's done all right, actually. He's not done too bad. If we have a quick look at his form, he does get the odd goal and assist, but his rating's actually all really quite high, apart from the ones that are really low. He does really well or really badly. There is no middle ground for Frolkin. So all in all, Season 3 with Mjallby has been ridiculously good. Next season, we've got a big amount of money in our bank, but not a big amount of money in our transfer budget. We might see if we can kind of rejig some things about. We are already committed to spend more than our wage budget allows. Maybe the board are nice over the winter and go, you know what, as we've got 5 million in the bank, here's £2 million to spend next season. And the final thing before we go, we should have probably done this in the summer, but we're going to do this now. We are currently 8th place in the coefficients table. However, we are likely, well, not likely, but potentially going to be moving up to 7th place, leapfrogging over Portugal. And it means qualification places right now. We get 1 team directly in the Champions League. We get 1 team in the qualifying, basically 1 game away, or 2 games away from being in the Champions League. We've got someone in the playoffs of the Europa League, someone directly into the Europa League phase from the Cup. I believe that's what this is. This is Cup winner goes into the Europa League. I don't know. Not quite sure. Then we've also got someone trying to qualify for the Europa Conference League. If we move up to 7th, it's pretty much the same thing. However, someone goes directly into the league phase of the Europa League. So we are getting close. 6th is real good. 2 teams into the Champions League. 5th is even better. And then 4th and up is basically the same. It doesn't really matter at that point. We are getting very, very close. We're in touching distance of basically completing the league phase of building a nation. The next bit is letting Sweden, or making Sweden, somehow win a World Cup or a European Championships, which I feel like is going to be very difficult to do. At the end of last season with our Mjallby side, I said that we should hopefully be able to convince the board to give us a bit more money to spend over our, I was going to say summer transfer window, over the winter transfer window, the pre-season transfer window, and they have done exactly that. They've increased our wage budget by just £5,000 over what we're currently spending, but we also have a £3.4 million transfer budget, which is absolutely massive. Some of this transfer budget we have already spent as well. Frank Borner is the first man through the door. We've signed him from SV Zams, a team that I mentioned last season. They have lots of half-decent footballers available on free transfers. Borner is another one. He's joined the club. And we have gone over to Peru to sign Roberto Hidalgo from Universitario. Still not quite sure if that's how that's said, for £175,000, which I think is a good bit of business, possibly going to 185. Definitely one for the future, but also can probably do a job for us now. We have also made an absolutely massive profit on Carl Cumberbatch. We signed him over the summer last season. He played twice for us, and we've now sold him to Barnsley for £700,000, starting off at 525, but possibly going all the way up to £700,000. That's just free money. That's good. We've also released Marvin Kabaya on a free transfer and Daniel Bergstrom, both of them leaving on free transfers. I'm not convinced these were necessarily the best idea, but I feel like we can now get better players than what they were, so I'm kind of happy with it. So the plans for this season is win everything, right? Last year, we finished third place in the Swedish Premier Division. I would love to basically be in a similar position, maybe pushing a little bit closer to the title. Europa Conference League, we are still in it at the moment. Obviously, when we hit the summer, we're going to move up into the Europa League, unless we win the Europa Conference League as well. That's a thing that could possibly, it's not going to happen, but it could possibly happen. And I'd love to win the Swedish Cup. I don't think that one's going to happen, though. So, without further ado, let's jump forward then to the end of our initial transfer window, see whether we spent any of this £3.4 million, and what have we managed to buy. 5 more players have joined the club, and our transfer budget has skyrocketed to £10 million. And now you're wondering, how have we managed to do that? And I'll tell you now, I don't really know. Well, I do know, and it's a similar thing. I believe this happened with Helsingborg as well, with another player that I managed to sell to somebody for stupid money, or even possibly in my Pogon save, where I sold a player. I agreed to sell Galamba for £600,000. You can see there, £600,000. He is joining AC Milan for, can we find out, 9.5 million. I don't know why. I agreed £600,000. Everyone was happy and the board went, no, it should be, I think, 625. So I offered them 625 and Milan came back and went, how about 9.5 million? So, I mean, of course we've accepted that. I did think this might happen last season, obviously not with that kind of money coming into the club, but the fact that we've got 9.5 million for him is ridiculous. Oh, and he's still here. He's still here. He's not leaving technically until the 1st of July, and then he's going to return on loan until the end of the season. So we're not losing him for this year at all. We have done some additional sales as well. Ake Anderson has left the club for a reasonable fee, going to Gothenburg for 725, possibly going up to 900,000. We've sold Hamlet Lecourt. He has gone to Malmo. Basically, I didn't really want him anymore. We've kind of done a little bit of business to buy someone better. £105,000. And also Roberto Hidalgo, who we signed earlier on, literally 2 months ago. He's gone out on loan to Varnamo for the rest of the season, which I think is going to be some good for him. We've also brought in a bunch of players, so let's take a look. Starting off with a former Helsingborg player, Obina Asuji, the 22-year-old Nigerian attack midfielder and striker, was joined on a free transfer. He's going to be a bit of a fringe player. Maybe we loan him out. He's still only 22, so got plenty of time to get better, which hopefully he can do that. He's already pretty good. We've also signed Swedish defender Aliou Atli Mane. He has come in from Sirius. His contract expired. We picked him up. Basically, we needed some more Swedish players. He was available on a free. I thought, let's go for it. And we've also signed Thierry Atengana on a free transfer from Canon Yuande, might be how that's pronounced. The 18-year-old Cameroonian left-back with under 20 caps. He's got 4 of them in total, has joined the club on a free. I think he's good, not good enough at the moment. Hopefully get him some loan business elsewhere, and maybe in the summer or next season, he could be a starter. We've also signed Willie Jakobsen. He's a 34-year-old Swedish goalkeeper. He signed from Landskrona because basically, I think he's pretty good. Yes, he's 34. For £145,000 might be a bit steep, but he's going to be kind of a backup, maybe getting in the first team. He's already played apparently 4 Swedish Cup games. I don't know whether they were for us though. I imagine they probably were. It does look like they might have actually been for us. And the final player we have brought in is Daniel Ajamang Badu, who's a 21-year-old Ghanaian international signed from Asante Kotoko over in his native Ghana. £325,000 for this one. I think this one is definitely one for the future, but also one for now. He's going to get a lot of football playing for us. That is our transfer business. That is literally all we've managed to do. And you might be thinking, yes, we did sell our number one goalkeeper. Who's our number one now? And looking at our squad, the answer is any one of these three. And by the looks of it, all three of them have been our number one. So Jakobsen's played 3, Star Wars has played twice, and Born has also played twice. This is kind of why I was okay with getting rid of Lacour, because we've got 3 goalkeepers now who I think could be good enough. I think Borna might need to be our number one. He's our highest paid goalkeeper, and he's also our youngest goalkeeper. However, I think Jakobsen's probably our best goalkeeper, but he is 34. Some other things to mention. We've made it to the Swedish Cup final once again, up against Bromwich Parkana this time around, which means we should be in Europe. In fact, we are going to be in Europe next season anyway. But the fact that we managed to get to 2 finals in a row means that there is a slim chance, and by slim, a 50-50 chance maybe, of actually winning this time. In the Europa Conference League, we have been knocked out. In the round of 16, we lose 6-4 on aggregate, but it does mean we did beat TSV Hartberg at one point. We beat them, 3-2, I believe, at home. So we picked up some coefficient points for that, but we are out of the Europa Conference League, which is annoying. A Europa Conference League, by the way, that was won by Helsingborg. Helsingborg won the Europa Conference League. That's amazing. I did not even realise that. Helsingborg have won the Europa Conference League. I'm now intrigued to see. So if we go past winners and then just go up to Europa League, surely there's no one in here. No, it doesn't look like it is. Champions League, obviously, I feel like that's definitely not going to have happened. But Helsingborg have won the Europa Conference League. We've done a thing. I feel like we've done a thing in building a nation of Sweden, and it's taken, 14 years. Obviously, the Swedish Premier Division, or the Allsvenska, has not kicked off just yet, but from a season preview perspective, we are still expected to finish down the wrong end of the table in 11th place. We are in the Europa League, which will kick off in July, I believe, for us. I've got high hopes that we can finish 5th or above once again. That needs to be the target every single season for the next few years, at the very least. And if we can do that, I think we should have turned Mjallby into a pretty decent Swedish side, much like we did with Helsingborg. And maybe we look at moving on from Mjallby within the next maybe 3 or 4 seasons and possibly take over somebody else. And I was going to say the word fallen giant, but I don't think it's a fallen giant, but maybe we look in the Swedish second division and look at teams like AIK, who are a good side. We've got Sundsvall, who've been up in the top division, Norrkoping, Värnamo. In fact, Norrkoping, I believe, might have won the first or second season of the Allsvenska in this save. So there's some big teams in the second division, so possibly maybe we move on in the future, pick up one of those teams, return them back to their former glory, and that might be where we end. And by end, I mean spend 10 seasons with that team, potentially. Just to confirm to you as well, we're not locking anybody in for the first part of the season. We're now going to jump forward to the start of the next transfer window, see how well things have gone on. It wasn't as close as last season, but we have once again lost the Swedish Cup final. We managed to take the lead as well with a penalty from Frolkin, but then we go 2-1 down. Ibrahim pulls one back to make it 2-2, but then later on, 75th minute and the 86th minute, 2 goals from Bromwich Parkana mean that they pick up the Swedish Cup. We are twice runners-up now in the Swedish Cup. But we might also be runners-up in the Swedish Premier Division. We are 3 points behind Helsingborg, and we are 3 points clear of Djurgården. So if we win that game in hand, we will go joint top of the table. Unless we win 7-0 or more, we will go top of the table, which I don't think is going to happen, obviously. But the fact that we are close to Helsingborg is a very, very good sign. I said this last season that we might have spent too much money on Leonardo Dominguez, and I've proved myself right. We have already moved him on at a cut price of 1.75, potentially going up to 2.15. He scored 1 goal over the course of a season and a half, and he's basically played 17 games. It's not good enough. We've got a fair return from him. Realistically, that's not too bad. But the fact that we spent so much money on him and he was absolutely awful kind of annoyed me. And the other thing that has happened is Galamba has obviously left the club. He is now permanently signed for Milan but has returned on loan till the end of the season. The fact that we got £9.5 million for him is just ridiculous. We obviously haven't done any transfer business yet because the window literally opened at midnight today, but these ones kind of happened a few days ago for us. We have got to spend £5 million, £5.5 million in fact, because we did spend obviously some of that Galamba money earlier on in the season. And I just want to point out that we do have a 50% sell-on for Galamba as well. So if he does move on from Milan, we get half of that cash extra, which is just silly. So let's jump forward then to around the start of September. Let's see if we can spend this £5 million. Let's also hope that we can kind of push ourselves to the top of the Swedish Premier Division. And also, we haven't kicked it off yet, but see how well things go in the Europa League, because we go straight in at the league phase. It's been a busy summer. 9 players have joined the club and nobody else has left. A bunch of loans have gone out, but no one else has left on a permanent deal. Tobias Edlund, first up, Swedish footballer, signed from Melbourne Victory on a free transfer after his contract expired. He's going to be a good player playing on that left-hand side. Leon Schmidt, another player who signed from SV Zams, has joined on a free transfer. I think he's good. He's not amazing, but he kind of just gives us a bit more squad depth. Possibly we look at loaning him out over the winter break for next season. Emil Engholm has joined for a small fee from fellow Swedish side Landskrona, 23-year-old central midfielder. He's joined for £78,000. He was transfer listed, they just weren't playing him. I think he's good enough to play for us, kind of on a fringe basis, which so far he's played once. We have gone over to Mali to sign Mjällby Keita for £100,000 and immediately loaned him out. He's obviously one for the future because right now he's not very good, but needs some game time. Hopefully he's going to get that playing for Degerfors this season. Next season, obviously, probably going to loan him out again. We've gone back to our old stomping ground and signed Lars Lundgren from Helsingborg and then immediately loaned him out to Christian Sand. He's come in for £190,000, which is possibly on the steep side for a youngster, but he's Swedish and one for the future, and hopefully getting game time this season will make him improve. We've also gone back to our former stomping ground of Helsingborg via BK Häcken and signed Johan Barchen, 24 years of age now, Swedish central defender, signed for £400,000. Obviously, he was formerly our player at Helsingborg, moved to BK Häcken on a free. We've picked him up for £400,000 because he's Swedish. I needed more Swedish players, and Barchen, he's good. He's all right. I say he's good. He's all right. £400,000 might be a bit steep. And speaking of things that are a bit steep, we've spent £1.4 million on Lazar Rajkovic, the Serbian goalkeeper with one cap to his name. We needed to get ourselves a starting goalkeeper because the 3 that we had, whilst they were doing all right, we needed somebody a little bit better, basically. Yes, he has cost a lot of money, 1.4, possibly going higher than that, I believe. But I think we've got ourselves a good keeper here. He's a good player, right? But our biggest signing of the summer, and I believe most likely Mjallby's biggest signing ever, is Rui Ricardo. He has come in for £2.7 million from BK Häcken. I wanted to spend less on him, but they basically wouldn't accept anything less than his minimum fee release. And I think he's going to be really good. 21 years of age, 3.5-star current ability, possibly 4.5-star potential ability. However, there is one massive problem with Ricardo, and I didn't realise until after I signed him. He's played for 2 different teams this season. He's played for Estoril on loan, and he's played once for BK Häcken, and now we've signed him. So we can't play him until next season. £2.7 million just sat there. And because of it, I went and decided to buy this man, Simeone Barsanti, on a free transfer, formerly of Fiorentina. He's cost us nothing. He's basically come in to fill the gap for 6 months. Yes, he's on a 1.5-year contract, but he's there for 6 months. And then we'll probably look to sell him over the end of the season because he's not going to be needed next year because Ricardo will be able to play for us. So that is our transfer window. We spent £5.5 million, 2.7 of which we can't actually use yet. We've loaned out a bunch of players. We haven't sold anybody more other than Dominguez and Galamba. And when it comes to competitions, we are still second place in the table, joint on points, but we are behind on goal difference, and also they have themselves a game in hand. We are also down in 27th in the Europa League because it's not kicked off just yet. We can actually take a quick look to see who we're going to play, and it's LASK, Dinamo, Wolfsburg, Rapid, Servette, and Anderlecht. So 6 very tough games. I don't think we're getting through the group stage this time around. Obviously, last year was the Europa Conference League. This time is the Europa League proper, and I think we might struggle with those. Just to confirm as well, nobody's getting locked in for the final part of the season. And before we go, let's take a quick look then at the coefficient. So we did not move ahead of Portugal in the end. They managed to stay above us for now, although we are already looking likely we're going to jump ahead of them unless something bad happens, or something good happens, basically. Portugal are losing a 16.75. We're losing just an 11.3. So, right now we're going to jump up. That's not right. Right now we're going to jump up to 7th place if everything stays this way. Obviously, competitions haven't really kicked off just yet. But I am very, very hopeful that we can move up in those rankings. Also, I've just seen Sweden at 18th in the nations, in the world rankings, which is good to see. Have they won anything yet? I feel like they haven't won anything. They've won the Olympic Games in 1948, so no, they haven't. Right, let's jump forward then to the end of the season, see how well things go. Can we win the league, or will we basically just drop down the table a little bit and finish in the European spots, which I'm kind of okay with. Obviously, I want to win the league. 1 point. That's all it was. It was 1 point between us and Helsingborg. We finished second place. We qualify for the Champions League, which is just ridiculous with this Mjallby side. But we do not win the league this time around. Elsewhere in the Europa League, we are not in the top 8, but we are 14th. We've got 3 wins, Anderlecht, Rapid and Dynamo, a draw against LASK, 2 defeats against Servette and Wolfsburg. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we might actually have 2 more games to play. We do. We have AZ and Fenerbahce next season. So we're getting very close to actually winning things, but not winning anything. We are basically the perennial bridesmaid with this Mjallby side, which I'm not okay with, but it's good in a way, because it shows that we are good enough to do things well. I've just seen Nicholas Skold as our top goal scorer, 19 goals in the league, 21 in all competitions, I think 25 technically in all competitions once you include the Swedish Cup. I mean, I don't think he played a huge amount. 19 starts that season, 30 starts this time around. So because Ricardo couldn't play for us, Skold kept his place in the starting 11 and actually scored a lot of goals, which is good. Just want to sort by goals again as well. So Lundberg gets 19 and 15 assists as well. That's a lot. He's very good. Mentally, he is very, very good. Bengström as well. He's done all right, 10 and 16. Although if you look there, it's 14 and 17. Chris Miller, who got 9 and 5 apparently, although he's unregistered, so he's not in the Europa League squad for some reason. Youngster as well, Badu, getting 7 goals, 9 assists from right back, although maybe he might have played right wing. In fact, looking at it, he scored twice from right wing against Dynamo. He also scored from right wing against Osters and from right wing against Rapid. So that's going to do it for this season. Next time around then, it is going to be Season 5 with Mjallby. We're going to be in the Champions League. I want to win something with Mjallby. Be that the league, be that the Swedish Cup, be that the Champions League. It's not going to be that one. But I want to win something, okay? That has to be our target. Financially, we've got £1.8 million to spend, although we've got 8.4 in the bank. So hopefully we should have around 5 million, maybe more, in our transfer budget for next season. So Season 5 begins today then for our Mjallby team, and we will be kicking things off with 2 more matches in the Europa League, a league that we are currently sat 14th place in. I'm not even quite sure who we've got to play. Hold on, we can probably and should know this. It is AZ Alkmaar and Fenerbahce, 2 matches which arguably we're probably not good enough to win. But if we do manage to pick up, let's say, 3 points, we should, in fact, maybe, we might be good enough to just get through anyway to the playoffs. You never know. We've got 2 games to play. We're going to jump forward until the other side of those now. Obviously, transfer window hasn't opened yet, so no business has been done. But when we return after these 2 Europa League games, let's talk about what the plans are for Season 5. Is one of those plans to win the Europa League? It could well be. We have qualified. We've finished 6th place. We have picked up 2 more victories. We beat, obviously, AZ Alkmaar and Fenerbahce, 4-1 against AZ and 3-2 against Fenerbahce. It does mean that we are through to the round of 16 in the Europa League. And whilst we're talking about European competitions, I mentioned this last episode that Helsingborg won the Europa Conference League a couple of seasons ago. That was also the same season. I was confused how we managed to get into Europe. That's how we got into Europe. It was kind of addressed in the comments of one of the videos, but yeah, that's how we did it, just to clear that up. Speaking of Helsingborg, they did win the league last time around, but there was only 1 point in it, and that was not quite close enough for us to win the league. Obviously, we have qualified for the Champions League this time around, which is good. I think we've got to go through a couple of qualifying rounds, but not too many. This season, I want to win the league. I really want to win the league. Obviously, we did win it with Helsingborg, didn't we? Yeah, of course we won it with Helsingborg. We managed to do that twice and then left. I'd love to do it once with Mjallby before we leave as well. That'll be nice. And in order to help us possibly win the league, we've got about £1.5 million to spend in our transfer budget. But some transfers have already taken place. And we've lost a big-name player, but he has returned on loan. And that is Thierry Atangana, a player, I believe we signed him last season, if I'm not mistaken. He has been sold to Bayern, but has returned on loan for the season. He's gone for £2.2 million. I was planning on force playing Atangana this season, and then Bayern came in and went, we'll buy him. So £2.2 million, loan back for the season, and a 50% sell-on. I think it's good business. We might not be here by the time that kind of 50% actually comes into fruition, but there we are. We've got some money into the club. We've also sold some other players on free transfers. Theo Bergvall has moved over to Phoenix over in the States. Humberto Riveros has also left on a free transfer. He has gone back to his native Chile, if I'm not mistaken. He has. Andreas Peterson has moved over to Hammarby on a free transfer, a player that basically he just kind of got loaned out lots and lots and never actually played for us. And Emil Henriksson has moved over to Norrkoping on a free transfer, a youngster who maybe he might get some game time there, who knows. 4 players have joined the club. We've already seen one of them, and that's Atan Garner, returning on a loan spell. Lewis Hall has joined the club. He was released from Helsingborg at the end of last season. We actually brought him in before the last 2 Europa League games, which he did play and get an assist in. He's joined on a free transfer. I love the fact that he's Swedish and still hasn't got a cap for them, though. That's quite funny. And then we've gone big, and it might have been a mistake. We spent £1.1 million on a 20-year-old Brazilian centre-back called Brunão. He is signed from Grêmio. He's arguably not good enough right now. He is one for the future, but we might need to lock him in for this season, maybe next season, to try and get that development sped up a little bit quicker. Because £1.1 million, a lot of money to spend. As is £2.6 million, but I feel like we've got ourselves a very good player and one for the future, but also one for them very much right now, and that is Arsen Manusharayan, might be his name. He's a 23-year-old Armenian international with 52 caps, can play as a centre-back, central midfielder and right-back if needed. Obviously, he's going to be a centre-back for us. He has cost a lot of money, £2.6 million, but I think he's good. I think we've got ourselves a very good player, and he's from an unfashionable footballing nation, which I do love to sign a player from one of those. And that is our transfer business so far. Looking at the tactics, we are going to be locking in Giwa. Yes, as a centre-back. I'm not sure whether this is a good idea, but because we've got Atangana returning to the club, Bayern want him to play as a left-back. I want him to play as a left-back. It means Giwa needs to play somewhere else. Giwa can play as a centre-back, but he's just not quite good enough. So we're going to try and force him there. Don't know whether this is a good idea, because he's technically our 4th best centre-back. But we've got Molnar, we've got Manusharayan. Still probably not right, is it? And we've got Dranikov, who I keep looking at Dranikov going, do I still need him at this club? He's a weird position, he's a weird shape. I don't really know. But Giwa, I'm going to try and turn into a centre-back, because I feel like he fits that mould slightly better than a full-back. And that is all we are locking in. Actually, if we do a very quick best 11, this is what they recommend. So Giwa is our left-back. We've got Dranikov and Manusharayan in central defence. Jose Clay as our right back, Rafin Ibrahim as our defensive midfielders, Hidalgo, who spent last season out on loan, and he's actually getting quite good. So spent a season at Varnamo playing 15 times. I think he probably is our best left winger, which is good. And he's still a little baby at 19 years of age. And Ricardo, who we signed last season, and we couldn't play him, can now be played. He's also unhappy, I think, because I didn't sign any decent coaches yet. But Ricardo, high hopes for Rui Ricardo. Right, lots and lots of talking has already happened so far in this season. Let's jump forward to the end of the transfer window. We've still got some money to spend, and we probably will do that. Or maybe we won't. I haven't bought anybody else into the club. We have, however, got rid of a whole bunch of players. Barasanti, that's his name, a player who I signed last season because of Ricardo. He's moved on, which was the plan all along. He's gone over to Como for £73,000. He's already scored 5 goals in 7 games for them. He was rubbish for us. Admittedly, he did only come off the bench 4 times. Other things probably worth mentioning, Brunão has gone out on loan to Östersund on a loan until the end of the season, which I think is going to be good for him. We've sold Mikael Olsen and Rasmus Fagerstrom. They're going to get round to playing them. And then just every single player that you could think of has gone out on loan. I don't think there's a huge amount of players here who are players that I've brought in. Keita is one of them. But I think most others have just come through the youth intakes over the last few seasons. No one's really standing out. Leon Schmidt as well. Yeah, he's an Austrian that I brought in. Going out on loan to AIK is going to be quite good, I think, for him to get some football. But that's pretty much it. Oh, and Strauss. Strauss also came from Zams, and he's also gone out on loan. But yeah, we've done just lots and lots of loan players. We've got obviously still got our same transfer budget. Our wage budget is the same. We've got £30,000 a week that we are not spending. But I'm okay with not spending that. We have, obviously, already played some games in the Swedish Cup. We got to the quarterfinals and got knocked out by Landskrona. In the Europa League, we are into the quarterfinals. So, we didn't go into the knockout round. We did go into the round of 16, where we beat Karabag 5-0 on aggregate. So, a 3-0 and a 2-0 win, which is always good for the coefficients. I don't think we're going to get too much further. Sporting are obviously a good side. Looking at everyone left in the competition, we are clearly the worst team in this. So, I'm not expecting to get beyond this point. We might be able to sneak past Sporting, but once we do that, we'll inevitably play Atalanta, Roma, Bayer, Chelsea, Monaco, Villa. I mean, we'll play one of the other 6. That's how these competitions work, and they'll probably beat us. So we'll see how things go. Speaking of seeing how things go, this is the prediction for the season. 5th place, which is also quite high up in the table. I'm surprised we're that high up, but okay, we did finish 2nd last season. Does make a bit more sense. I've just seen as well, Juan Davis is the best. He's amazing. He was never this good. He was never this good at Helsingborg, right? And we sold him for £21,000. He's then played regular football for 4-5 seasons, and he's turned into an absolute ridiculous goalkeeper. Why did we not get this Juan Davis at Helsingborg? Anyway, it doesn't really matter. We actually... Is that our Ricardo? We've got a player in the Dream 11. We've got a player in the Dream 11. Said is not ours, as you know, he's a Hacken. I'm assuming Dago is also a Hacken. We have a player in the Dream 11. Our 2 best players are going to be Ajaman Badu. Okay, fair enough. I mean, he's very good, but he's not what I was expecting. And Veru Ricardo, because he's literally one of the best strikers in the league. Right, we are going to jump forward. We are sticking with Gewa in defence. We're going to jump forward then to the midway point of the season. See how things have gone on. I expect we are going to get knocked out of the Europa League, but we will have to see. I love the fact that when you jump to the competitions around July time, it's technically next season from a Champions League and Europa League thing. And we're in the Champions League, but we were already in the Champions League. Does that mean we won the Europa League? The smart ones about you have already worked out. No, we haven't. But we did manage to get past Sporting, beating them 1-0 and drawing 1-1. In the semi-final, we then played Atalanta, where we got absolutely smashed. We lost 2-1 and we lost 4-1. So losing 6-2. Chelsea-Atalanta final, eventually won by Chelsea 3-1. But getting to the semi-final of the Europa League is impressive for our little old Mjallby side. And as you can see then, after 13 games, we are 24 points on the board, 5th place in the table, where the media predicted us to be finishing. I say okay, obviously we have to be okay with it, we can't go back in time. But we are just 4 points off the top of the table, so we're not too far out of reach. We've got 6th and 7th place as well, who are still kind of within touching distance, so there's quite a lot of teams who are still in that fight. Before we talk about transfers, I do want to take a very quick look at the coefficients, and we have moved up to 7th place. I believe we've moved up to 7th place, which means, what does that mean? We get one team directly. I mean, it's exactly the same, isn't it? It's not. 7th place gets us somebody directly into the Europa League. In fact, 2 teams directly into the Europa League, and then we still need to go through some qualifying rounds to get to the Europa Conference League, which is fair enough, but we are very, very close. 6th is amazing. If we can get to 6th, that is 2 teams directly into the Champions League. 1st and 2nd place in the table will be picking up big money from Champions League TV rights. So anyway, transfers. The window has opened and we have spent a little bit of money. We did have 1.5 million to spend. It's gone down by about 400,000. We've brought in 2 new players. First of all, I really want to get ourselves a very good goalkeeper, and Mohamed Derbao is the next attempt at doing this. He's cost £350,000, an Algerian international, 22 years of age. I think he's pretty good. I don't know whether he's good enough at the moment when you compare him to Rajkovic, who's our number 1. I think Rajkovic is better, but I feel like Derbao might have the highest ceiling. He's got 4-star potential, whereas Rajkovic only has 3.5. Borna also only has 3.5. So maybe Derbao could be our new future number 1. Maybe we force play Derbao. Who knows? And the other player we have signed has cost us just £50,000. His name is Delan Gaynor. He is an 18-year-old Jamaican international with 9 goals in 17 appearances. Striker, right winger, central midfielder. For £50,000, he's ridiculous. 3-star current ability, 4.5-star potential ability. We might have ourselves a superstar in the making. It's annoying that he's already got lots of caps for Jamaica, but when you think of how good he actually is, it's not a surprise to anyone at all. The weird thing, he scored lots of goals, 27 for Mount Pleasant, he scored 9 for Jamaica, he got 8 finishing. And because of that, we are going to be force playing him because I don't think he will get into the squad, or if he does, it's not going to be there. Right wing, we're going to make sure that he's going to be our right winger, coming in off that right-hand side. And I think he's going to do very, very well for us. We've also got Gewa, who's been playing every single match as a centre-back. He's played 9. I think he must have got injured. Got 3 goals and assists, though. That's pretty good. And I guess the next thing to do is jump forward to September to see whether we spent any more of this £1.1 million. Have we brought in any more money? Have we sold any more big-name players? And also, have we actually managed to get into the Champions League group stage? Because that'll be quite useful. Right, somewhat of a busy summer for us. Marcus Holm has left the club, going to Elfsborg for a small fee, £1,700. Christian Star Wars has also left the club, signing for Landskrona. He's gone for £14,250. Another goalkeeper has also left the club. Frank Borner has moved over to Salzburg for 215, possibly going up to 275. And Aliu Atli Mana has moved over to Orbro, I'm not quite sure, for £425,000. We have brought in a bunch of players as well to replace some. First of all, a right winger in the shape of Dennis Lindberg signed from Djurgårdens. He's been brought in because he's Swedish and we were starting to run low on Swedish players. So we brought him in. He was also transfer listed. They weren't playing him. He has cost probably a bit too much, £375,000. He has come off the bench quite a few times, scoring a goal already. We've also signed central defender Yigit Karapinar might be his name, not quite sure. I feel like he's part Turkish, isn't he? It's definitely a Turkish looking name. It is a Turkish looking name. So yeah, he has come in from Djurgårdens as well. He's cost a little bit less, actually. I was going to say more. A little bit less, £130,000 this time around. And I think we've got ourselves a very good young Swedish centre-back. 3 caps to his name. Mentally, those numbers are really, really good. I like those numbers. Technically, they're a little on the low side, but I'm hoping his mental numbers drag him through and he turns into a really good footballer. And the final player we have brought in is Jerry Kalu, a 20-year-old Nigerian international left winger, right winger, maybe a striker if he fancies it. He has come in from Mjallby Stars. In fact, he's not come in from Mjallby Stars because he was released. His contract expired. We picked him up on a free transfer. And I think Jerry Kalu might be one of those players that we need to start thinking about. Do we play him? Do we put him in that attacking midfield role in the middle? Then we've got Gaynor on the right. We've got Kalu in the middle. And we're building kind of this weird super team of obscure nations of football just around the world. Right now, I think we're going to stick with Gaynor and Giwa, though. Giwa has come back from an injury, and I think he's gone back out on another injury, potentially. So he needs a rest. He's played 18 times now, scoring 3, getting 2 assists. Gaynor on that right-hand side, 4 goals in 9 starts, 1 assist as well. So he's actually looking real good, getting better as well. Lots of numbers or lots of arrows going upwards. Fixtures, what's going on? Well, we've been knocked out of the Champions League, unfortunately losing to Porto 6-0 on aggregate, but it does mean we move into the Europa League, which is fine, because we should be good enough to win quite a few games in the Europa League. In the Swedish Premier Division, we are 6th place. We have been on a shocking run of form. If you kind of take out the Champions League games here, so we've lost against Brommers-Podkana, we've got a draw there, we've got a defeat against Helsingborg, we've got defeats as well against Hammarby, defeats against Västerås and Djurgårdens. This was obviously before the transfer window opened. Lots and lots of draws, so we're not doing particularly well. When we do win quite comfortably with lots of goals, but yeah, we are dropping points, not in good places, not in good ways either. So just taking a quick look then at the Europa League matches that we're going to be playing. We've got Partizan, Ferencváros, Karabag, PSV, Panathinaikos, Austria, Vienna, AEK and Lille. So I'd like to think we should be good enough to get through this group stage, similar to last season, finishing in the top 8. That would be really good. I think we should be able to beat Partizan, Ferencváros, Karabag, Panathinaikos and Austria, Vienna. I think we should be good enough to beat those. PSV, I think, might be a struggle. AEK, we should win that one. Lille, we probably will lose that one. So I think we're in a good position for the Europa League this time around. There were a bunch of loan deals as well that went on, by the way, that I just kind of didn't really mention. Frolkin has gone on loan to Sirius. Asuji, a player who I really have high hopes for, he's gone out on loan to Halmstad to get a bit of first-team football, also in the Premier Division, which is good to see. Anyone else? Johan Barchen, he's also gone to Sirius. Brought him in because I was hoping he'd get some game time for us. It's just not panning out. He's moved on loan to Sirius in the Premier Division. So we're getting some of these players going out, playing first-team football in the top flight of Sweden, which is good. Just a shame that we kind of wasted some money on some of them. Frolkin's still good. He just never gets in our starting 11, does he? Poor guy. Well, I guess there's one last thing then to do this season, and that is to jump to the end of it and see where we have finished. I want to finish in the top 5. Obviously, it's not looking good, but hopefully we can turn this around, get in the top 5, and get some more European football for our 6th season in charge of Mjallby. Oh, it's not good reading. It's not good reading, is it? We have finished 6th place in the league. Joint on points. Joint on goal difference. We are finishing 6th on goals scored against Kalmar. I'm assuming that's why we're 6th, because they've scored 66, we've scored 62. Oh, that's frustrating, because the thing is, one win would have put us fourth. Change one of those defeats to a win and we go fourth and we're in the Europa Conference League. Instead, we're looking at a season where we are not in any form of European competition. Unless, it's again unlikely, but we did get to the semi-final last time around, unless we win the Europa League. 6 games have been played so far and we have not conceded a goal. That's ridiculous. In all the wins, we've not conceded, and then we have lost once against Austria Vienna, strangely. Okay, Panathinaikos 4-0, PSV losing against us 7-0, Karabag 4-0, Partizan 4-0, Ferencváros a 5-0. Rui Ricardo in his debut season, ignore last year, scoring 10 goals in 6 Europa League games. He's managed to find a lot of goals, all in the Europa League, unfortunately, not a huge amount in the actual Allsvenska. And he is wanted by Helsingborg. No, that's not happening. So Season 5 is going to end somewhat disappointingly with this Mjallby side, unless we can do something in the Europa League. Next season, we need to just get back into Europe. We need to basically try and focus on the league, make ourselves a much better side. Or, we have jumped forward to the 15th of January. This is an opportunity that I think is quite interesting. Norrkoping's manager has just moved on to a different team. Norrkoping won the Allsvenska in the second season of this save in 2024. They won the Allsvenska. They then got relegated. They have since climbed their way back up, and maybe this is what we do. Do we jump ship from Mjallby? A Mjallby side, by the way, if we have a quick look at the schedule, we haven't played the Europa League games yet, but do we jump ship from Mjallby, move over to Norrkoping? And 11 days later, we have moved over to Norrkoping. So, next season, we will be taking charge of our third team and what will probably be, unless we get sacked from Norrkoping, our final team of this Building a Nation save. IFK Norrkoping, we need to get them back on top of the Swedish Premier Division, getting them winning the league once again, like they've already done so far this save. And we have one real challenge left to go, and that is now to just make Sweden amazing. We need to get the youth development going. We need to bring in the best possible Swedish footballers we can find, developing them to be the best possible players they can be. And then hopefully, maybe at some point in the next 100 years, Sweden might actually win the World Cup or the European Championships. But we will have to wait and see.